Heroes, from the makers of Senna, the writer and director Manish Pandey, featuring Tom Christensen, Mika Hakkinen, Felipe Massa and Michel Mouton, all heroes in their own right. And overshadowing the whole scene, Michael Schumacher. Now, without further ado, we have further guests to announce this afternoon. Can I welcome the writer-director of the film Heroes, Manish Pandey, and the action sequence director, Jim Wiseman. Gents, thank you very much. Jim, thank you very much. Do take a seat, gents. Nearest to me, fabulous. So Manish, it's been a labour of love for you, this film, really, hasn't it?
Yes, very much so. Motorsport Network talked to me about creating something for them. It's almost 3 years ago, and they gave me just the best brief you can get, which is write something that you're very passionate about, but it just can't be one sector of motor racing, something that's a bit wider and something that really tells the story of what we all love as motor racing fans. So, you know, I had carte blanche, spent 6 months thinking about it, and Heroes is what came 2 years later.
I wish I could spend 6 months thinking about my features that I'm writing. You've spent an awful lot of time in the archive, digging out archive footage, because it's basically organised around some of the most exciting moments in the careers of these drivers, isn't it? As they sit around a dinner table reminiscing about their careers and where their lives have taken them.
Exactly. So the story is very simple. 4 truly great motor racing drivers from different spheres meet at a beautiful English country home for a day and a night. And they spend breakfast, lunch, dinner, walks, playing cards, talking to each other about their lives. And the reason why we wanted an English country house in autumn when it's raining is because that's about as far away as you can get from a motor racing track. There's no petrol, no smell, it's very civilized, and it's very quiet. And what they do, and I mean, this was going to live and die on them talking to each other. And what's fantastic is, I mean, if I interview someone, you interview someone, you're a journalist, I'm a filmmaker, but when drivers talk to drivers, you get the magic. And what they're able to bring out of each other, not just what's said, but actually very often what's not said. They're able to dig much deeper than any interview you'll see, much or read much more deeply than some doc that you'd made. And then my job after that, after capturing all of those interactions, was to go into the Formula One archive, Le Mans, to look at each of those stories in incredible detail, and just pick out the ones that, if you like, give you the great journey upwards, the amazing achievements, but also the downslope. And the one thing that each of them have in common is, of course, Michael Schumacher. And it's to bring out the kind of emotion of Michael's journey, which is the ultimate success story, but with the ultimately ironic ending.
Because, as you say, that they're all interconnected. Tom Christensen, very interesting character, because he raced against Mika and Michael as he was coming up through the ranks. His career stalled for lack of money, but then he went on to become fantastically successful at Le Mans. Mika Hakkinen was, you know, the arch rival on track and the big headline thing. And one thing the film captures beautifully is the action as they describe it. There's this fantastic moment where Mika is talking his dining companions through that fantastic moment in Spa when he overtook Riccardo Zonta and Michael at the same time. Could you actually sort of feel the magic in that moment when he was doing it?
Oh, absolutely. And the thing about motor racing drivers, I mean, all great sportsmen, they said about Tiger Woods. Apparently what he can do is at any great tournament, he can shut his eyes and he can actually just play every single stroke, see where he hit the ball, where it lands, the walk, the thing. Every one of these people can shut their eyes and remember every key moment, lap, setup, how they were feeling. And what we were allowed to do was just spend loads of time on each of those moments. And then, you know, Formula One, Le Mans allowed us into the archive, rallying allowed us into the archives to go and find and illustrate and re-illustrate. I mean, the story that you're just telling now, Michael versus Mika in Spa 2000, everyone's seen it, but actually we have 5 camera angles. And what it allows you to do is look at it, appreciate it, have a think about it, and then just have a little pause at the end and realize, that was Mika, and that was Michael. so close in ability, but so different as human beings.
And the Michelle Mouton connection is a little bit more obscure because, of course, she worked with Jean Todt, who was the father figure to Michael. You've got Felipe Massa, who was part of the family. And all of them have had sort of kind of a traumatic journey through motor racing, haven't they?
Yeah, so there's something that binds all 5 of them together, and I'm not going to give that one away.
Spoilers, yes.
But what you get out of this is that it really doesn't matter which discipline you took. Nobody had an easy life doing what these people did. I mean, nobody. And it didn't get easier when they won. And at some point, all of them had to look into the mirror and go, you know what, this is over for me. And Michael's no exception to that. And how hard that is to deal with. And then when you walk away from a career like that, what do you go on and do? And hopefully, we tell a very exciting story, but we tell a story that's also about life, because life is bigger than any career, even Michael Schumacher's career.
Should we turn our attention to the live action footage? Because Jim, you've been sitting there now. It's in a country house setting, but no one gets murdered, do they?
Yeah, spoiler alert, no one gets murdered, which is surprising, bearing in mind their profession and their driving ability. I mean, Manish said to me, oh, can you direct some legends in some amazing cars on a wet country road in November? I was like, yeah, absolutely. But the brief was kind of, can you do the start of the Italian job ×4, which was just like a dream to me. So, and to direct people like Tommy and Mika, of course, in a McLaren 750S, it's just, you know, it's the stuff dreams are made of for me and what I do. So that was a quick telephone conversation, so that was a yes. And then to have them all on the day, and it's really great, their interaction, because they obviously kind of know one another, so there wasn't the awkwardness that you sometimes get with Mika, you know, whoever. It's they all kind of knew one another, and I think that comes across really nicely. And also to direct them in cars is great, because you know, I direct actors and TV presenters in cars, and you kind of go.
Must be like herding cats when you're doing Top Gear, isn't it?
herding mostly drunk cats usually, but so it was really good, because you kind of.
I'm going to tell them about the Mika is so naughty. Okay, yeah. So this is an incredible stately home with a gravel drive, and there are lots of rules when you go and film in places like this. And one of them is you don't burn up the gravel drive. Yeah. So Mika, yeah, you're not going to burn up the gravel
Take
drive.
one.
Take one.
When you come,
you're not going to do
so whatever you do, don't lock it up. And yeah. And
okay, I'm not going to burn up the gravel.
So yeah, in he comes, and then he throws down the gauntlet to the other one. So then everyone misbehaves, but you get a better result out of it. And Michelle was fantastic, because Michelle was kind of this stateswoman of the Race of Champions and all that kind of stuff. And you kind of go, oh, it's quite a long time ago. She's quite, you know, of advanced years, and we got a classic Quattro in, and it's just like, can you just drive down, and it's off, you know. She's not mucking about, so it's really nice. It's just, and they were heroes to me, because we're all kind of motorsport geeks. So I remember going to the RAC rally in '82 as a nipper with my dad, and Michelle Mouton was a huge star. So it's kind of like those amazing moments, and obviously Mika and Tommy K as well, and you kind of go, I've got to boss these people around in cars. So it's kind of like, it's a huge event, and it just comes across well that this is a special event, and it's never going to happen again. These people aren't going to be together like this again, remembering their career in this situation. So they were all really up for it, and I think, you know, credit to Manish, he kind of coerced them into doing it, and they were all kind of relaxed around the crew as well, and that's really important, because of course you've only got so much time with them, and so they were there from the start, and everyone was quite relaxed, and it was quite a relaxed environment. Whereas, you know, if it's at a race event, you and I both know it's like, oh, you've got 23 minutes with this driver.
That's genuine, and,
yes,
and that is, I would say, it's probably generous, I'd say.
Exactly, yeah.
5 or 10 minutes.
So please draw all the emotion out of this racing driver in 15 minutes, and he's about to go into free practice. That kind of thing. That wasn't the case in this point, and that's why I think this film's so special like that.
And I mean, the other thing is that because they have encountered each other over the last 20, 25 years, what they were able to do, because they're all, one thing people sometimes don't see is that motor racing drivers are massive fans as well. I mean, they are massive fans. They know each other's careers. They know each other's high points and low points. And I mean, literally my favorite thing from this whole experience was seeing them get the most out of each other and asking each other, well, did you really do that? What was the line like? Well, how did you feel after? That was the real privilege of this.
Last time I saw Tom Christensen at the Autosport show, he had a big bag of DVDs I think they were rallying as well, that he'd just bought. So I see what you mean. Now, in terms of going to see Heroes, it's going to be rolling out at cinemas very shortly, but you can also watch it on Motorsport TV as of this Thursday, can't you?
Exactly. So new subscribers will be given a code, and you can watch it for 48 hours from when you activate that code. We will be announcing a global partnership for other forms of distribution later in the week. It's very, very exciting. But I think, motorsport fans, Thursday evening, log on, watch it.
motorsport.tv/join, I think is the URL. So it's time we cleared the stage to meet our next guests. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Manish Pandey, Jim Wiseman. I look forward to seeing it. I missed the premiere. Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks so much.
Good luck. Thank you.